Verbal sideswipes adding to simmering tensions over Taiwan. The U.S. is criticizing China's recent decision to fire missiles over the island, calling its superpower rival a, quote, gorilla in the room that must be contested. Chinese Defence Minister Wei Fenghe says the PLA has never been afraid of any enemy and that his country is confident it will defeat any challenges as it safeguards national sovereignty. Beijing authorities have launched a fresh series of military drills around Taiwan after a visit by more U.S. lawmakers, hot on the heels of House Speaker Nancy Pelosi's trip. Officials in Taipei says China is exaggerating the extent of its exercises, accusing it of information warfare after the PLA said its jets had flown close to the strategic Penghu Islands, the location of a major Taiwanese airbase. On tensions soaring on the diplomatic front as well, Beijing has imposed sanctions on 7 high-level Taiwanese officials accused of being, quote, independence diehards. They are now banned from entering the mainland, Hong Kong and Macau. Taiwan undeterred by that move, some of those sanctions saying they feel honored to be added to China's blacklist. And CNA's Olivia Xiong joins us live from Beijing. Olivia, of course, we're hearing that those officials, their morale not dented at all by being added to this blacklist. So what does China actually gain by sanctioning these officials?
Well, this may be a symbolic move more than anything, China directing its anger at those it has labeled die-hard Taiwan independence separatists, saying that for some time these individuals have colluded with external forces in engaging in activities that provoke Taiwan independence, saying that their behavior had become more egregious with that visit by U.S. House Speaker Nancy Pelosi. And therefore, it says it is laying out these sanctions to safeguard peace, it says, as well as to punish these individuals. And if we were to look at that blacklist, there are 7 Taiwanese officials and politicians, most of them from the ruling pro-independence Democratic Progressive Party. One of them is Xiao Bi-Kim, who is the Taiwan representative to the U.S. Now, she has been criticized previously by Beijing for advancing U.S. arms sales to Taiwan, as well as facilitating that trip by the U.S. House Speaker to the island as well. Now, restrictions-wise, those on the blacklist, well, they and their families will not be allowed to enter mainland China, as well as Hong Kong and Macau. Institutions that they are affiliated with are also restricted from working with organizations and individuals on the mainland. The Taiwan Affairs Office also saying that enterprises that they are linked with will not be allowed to engage in any activity that allows them to profit from the mainland. And the warning also that other punitive measures will be taken. No further details given on what this could entail, but the clear warning that it said that those sanctions will be held to, quote, lifelong accountability. Now, in practical terms, I said this could be, more symbolic because typically Taiwan officials do not visit mainland China, but sanctions have been used in the past. Apart from these 7 Taiwanese officials right now, we have previously also seen the Taiwanese premier, its foreign minister, as well as its parliament speaker being sanctioned in December last year.
Olivia, of course, in its part, Taipei accusing Beijing of information warfare that specifically pertains to the claims that Beijing has made over its drills. Now, do we have any clarity of, for example, how close the Chinese Air Force got to the Penghu Islands, and if there's any likelihood of these drills escalating further?
Well, the short answer to that question, Wei Su, we do not have further clarity or information from the Chinese military as of now. The Foreign Ministry today at its daily briefing was asked to respond to these accusations by Taiwan that it had over-exaggerated this footage that had been taken from what it said was an aircraft that had been participating in those military drills yesterday, showing the Penghu Islands. But the Foreign Ministry said that this is a question that should be directed at China's Defence Ministry and would only say that Taiwan independent separatist forces would feel China's firm measures to safeguard its sovereignty and territorial integrity. But all this comes as analysts have pointed to a new normal in the Taiwan Straits, as China has continued to position these visits by the U.S. politicians and that U.S. Congressional delegation as provocation, as undermining its sovereignty, and it sees this as a change in the U.S. policy and emboldening Taiwan independence forces, it says. Now, analysts say that this may have given China a greater justification to achieve its goal of reunification, which is a long-term goal, and especially at this politically sensitive time ahead of that key Communist Party Congress in the fall that we are expecting. And so we have seen China say that it is going to be conducting regular drills near Taiwan to step up its combat readiness. The Chinese Defence Minister also making it very clear in those remarks at this forum, in a video message to this forum in Moscow, saying that China is not afraid of any enemies and is confident of defeating any enemies in this regard.
Well, thanks for that. Olivia Xiong reporting live to us there from Beijing.